anyone under his leadership, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. Anybody that is confusing anyone or telling you there is another, no, there is nothing. There's just one, recognized by His Excellency Simon Ekpa.
Biafra, Merani, Onuzo ke Biafra, na Merani, Onuzo ke Biafra, Merani, Onuzo ke Biafra.
Welcome, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world. I welcome you once again to this amazing platform where we disseminate information that has to do with the restoration of independent state of Biafra. I appreciate everyone that has connected to this platform. This is Biafra Exodus Hard Talk TV, a platform that stands for the United States of Biafra, under the command of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa, and on the supreme command of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And today, under the leadership of Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, the Deputy Prime Minister of the United States of Biafra, COS interim, I welcome all of you to this very platform. Happy New Year to everyone that is watching, wherever you are watching from. We are in a new year. And as we enter the new year, many people are asking questions and they say, what next? Where is the way to go? The way to go is simple. We are pursuing the recognition of the United States of Biafra and the restoration of Biafra fully on the ground. That is the phase where we are today. Every one of us must continue to give our contribution the best way we can. And remember, I urge you to like and share. Share to your neighbors, share to your family, share to everyone to key in and join us on this gospel. Do not be distracted. Regardless what you hear, regardless what you see, regardless the propaganda and blackmail that is flying from right, left, and center, do not get distracted. Be focused, because Biafra have been declared on the 29th of November 2024, and there is no going back. We are pursuing the recognition of Biafra.
Dangerous dimensions or phenomenon that is raising its ugly and monstrous heads. It is how to hit heads of one tribe against the other. In what way is it going to pay us off? Or in what way is it going to, grow the economy or, foster a solution to the imbroglio we find ourselves? That is why, you see, sometimes you pick the wrong people and put them in very sensitive positions.
Okay.
Clear case of putting a square peg on a round hole. So I am in that school of thought that should look in the direction of being very thorough in people we put in position of responsibility.
Okay.
If any of them comes out to play this role, this shameless set of human beings are presently playing, they should be eased out without sentiments or without any bias whatsoever, in as much as it's an avenue to give them food, to put food in their table. Replace them, remove them to places that are less sensitive, where they cannot be seen nor heard. Let them just be doing office work and be writing memos and be suggesting things, become part of even the think tank. Not where they will be coming to open their mouth and be talking recklessly and irresponsibly and be inciting a set of Nigerians or a group or a tribe against the other tribe. It's not healthy. It will not bring harmony or unity or integration or internal cohesion amongst the tribes in Nigeria. The situation is such that this is the time we need to be realistic, we need to be nationalistic, we need to be altruistic, and think about the generations to come. Because what legacy are we leaving for the generations to come? These are things that should be primary and that should be key to each and every actor in the political space. You see, the direction I'm coming is that the state of the economy is in debilitating condition. We should think of first security so that institutional and foreign investors can think of coming here to do their investments and be rest assured that there won't be stories on the investment. If you conquer security, we will look at the direction of production in areas of revitalizing the industries and then getting the agriculture back on track. Because if you're able to have bountiful production and harvest, you have enough to feed your nation.
Exactly.
Then you may be lucky to have excess to export and earn foreign exchange. Because when you're not producing, you are a net consumer. That's where you have problem. And you cannot continue to depend only on monocultural economy, thinking of 99% oil production. What if the oil dries off tomorrow? That's one. And two, what if by paraventure things happen and the cost of crude falls from maybe around $80 per barrel that is hovering now and comes down to something like $20.
Okay.
The way Buhari met it in 2015. I mean, how do you wriggle yourself out of such tight situation? So these are the areas we will think of on how to move the economy forward. Now, coming further, the president had been bold enough to remove the fuel subsidy at the inception of his regime. And that removal of fuel subsidy is in line with the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, that deregulates the downstream oil sector. Now, what do? We are expected to encourage indigenous investors in downstream oil sector, like Aliko Dangote and his Dangote refinery. Encourage them by making sure that things like the crude oil that they source as their raw materials for production of refined products should be coming from domestic sources, so that at least whatever he makes in terms of foreign exchange will naturally go into the foreign reserve for the nation and bolster whatever we have there. But if you are playing politics, very funny politics, and making him to go and import crude, maybe from America or from Mexico or wherever, he will be spending that much needed foreign exchange to go and bring in the raw materials. And by the time he finishes refining and put it in the market, these prices we are enjoying now that is declining will start going up. So the politics of oil is such that we even expect, I don't expect even the majors who are importing to in any way, have issues with what Dangote is doing. If they feel they cannot compete with the markets, like the saying goes, if you can't beat them, you join them. You key in into what Dangote is doing. And good enough, more modular refineries are coming up. If you look at Akwa Ibom, Bua is almost rounding up his modular refinery there. And I learned recently, there's one also coming up in Imo State. So if we have enough, it's a plus for the nation. Because when you produce enough, you have surplus to export. As we speak, Dangote exports and is earning foreign exchange for the country. I think he exports to UAE, to Saudi, to UAE and some other Middle East countries, especially Jet A oil, the one that the aircraft are using. It's a plus. So it's not something people should have reason to begin to fight themselves and come in with this pull him down syndrome. It is not healthy. It's not the best for all of us.
Mr. Lawal Kundar, please come close to the microphone. Thank you so much for your patience. Mr. Lawal, when that particular state of emergency was declared in Rivers State, article said that that state of emergency reeks of political manipulation and outright bad faith. That was what he said that night. Now, he blamed the president for the crisis in Rivers. He accused him of being a partisan actor in the political turmoil engulfing Rivers. And that was what he did. He went to his X page platform immediately to type shortly after the president's broadcast. He said he feels greatly disturbed by the political crisis in Rivers, that the state has been at a standstill and the people have been deprived of good governance. 14 months after Fubara demolished the House of Assembly, it remains unbuilt. Many Nigerians have intervened just as he did, but their efforts have been to no avail. No responsible president will stand by without taking action to restore good normalcy and governance and peace. Now, in that particular this was the president's reaction to what Atiku Abubakar said about reeking of political manipulation. Now, in reaction as well to that, Omoyele Sowore went and called this administration all sorts of derogatory names. In fact, he called it, this is worse than a dictatorship. He called it godfatherism at play. His response is actually there. He has been on several media forums. He even went to the extent of saying that the Senate president ought to be in prison. He asserted that Godswill Akpabio should be in prison and not the Red Chamber. This was when he was weighing in on the sexual allegation leveled against Akpabio by the suspended senator. So the reason why I'm going back is these individuals were quick in reacting to that declaration. And Peter Obi now spoke, and you're picking him out. So Sowore is saying that Peter Obi is a wimp. That's why it's easy for them to pick on him, because every other person had spoken. And then he speaks, and you decided to come out and pick on him. Why is that so?
Thank you. I believe the reason is because they see him as a formidable opposition.
They don't see Atiku as a formidable opposition. No, they don't see Sowore as a formidable opposition.
See, the level at which Obi is, popular, is something that is, worrisome to the ruling party. That is why they look at him, even if he stand up, they are going to criticize it in order to find a means to try to, damage his image. That is what exactly is going on. That's what exactly is going on. So they see him as a man to beat. And they have the attention on him. You get it? And they find every little thing to try to bring him down, because they see him as everything he says, generates, popularity for him. So that is the way they see it. So they tried everything, even if he didn't speak, they will still speak about him.
But why would they see him as a formidable source? The APC won the 2023 elections, and now as it stands, they seem to have an upper hand with the legislature, INEC as an institution, and the National Assembly, as well as the judiciary. So what is the fear?
In 2023, people believe the battle, the last election, and they saw it overshadow them. They had to, do some, just opposing, to get to power. Let me use the word just opposing. To get to power. So when you just oppose to get to power, you know that you took a giant, you took more than the necessary steps that you are supposed to take. You'll be looking back because you know that step may not always be available. So you always look at somebody who's that fast. You get, it's like you are playing football, and then while you are playing football, you see that the referee assisted you to win. You understand? When the referee assisted you to win, you will always be afraid of the true team, because you know that you may not always have the opportunity of the referee every time. That is the way they see him. That's why each time he speaks, they want to come out and try to, damage his reputation, whatever, say this and that. Everybody have been saying this now. We've been saying this all over since now. Other people have been saying, we are not even a big elephant in the political scene. Kwankwaso have been speaking. So many. Even this what's the name of this young NYC student that came up and spoke?
Right.
So people have been speaking. He's not the first person to speak. He's not the middle person to speak. He's not the last person to speak. But they see him as that, that politician, that leader, that man to beat. So, and that fear, you get it, is always there. And that caution is always on them. You get, and that's why you see this man coming out to just speak sometimes. And then you wonder what are you talking? You get it? It's obvious.
All right.
So I see the fear. You see, I see the fear. And I keep saying it. I keep telling Nigerians that, see, don't underestimate Nigerians. Don't underestimate Nigerians. This thing will always come up. You remember, Babangida said, I'll step aside. He never expected it. You remember? When MKO Abiola, contested, nobody thought the whole country would just galvanize together and vote without any divide. When Abacha was in power, they thought it was going to be like that forever. Is that not it? And there were protests then. So, and the same election came up 2023. People never expected. And I keep saying that Nigerians are getting wiser.
Okay.
Don't always think this is in Nigeria for 1 year or this. Nigerians are getting wiser. Okay, let me move to a bigger level. Look at Fubara. Look at Natasha. They are playing outside the box, and it's seriously affecting the ruling party. And it was obvious what they did to Fubara, and everybody is speaking all over the world. They saw the unfairness. Look at Natasha, that female that is just inexperienced in the house and shaking the whole house. Some have been there for how many years? 12 years. And she's shaking the whole house. And the whole house, is kind of, why I said they are shaking? They are afraid because they keep doing things outside the normal, outside their law. The same law you are accused her of, you yourself, you are openly disobeying that same law. And you are punishing somebody for it to let you know that she's seriously shaking them. The Senate president had to appeal to every member of the senator for assistance in order to be able to fight this inexperienced young politician that's been there for the first time. You get it? This female that they can always shut down every time. You get it? Female really speak in the Senate, and she's shaking the whole thing. So what I'm saying that this is a new Nigeria. Some people are getting bolder. Some people are getting
brazen.
Yes, faces the status quo, and it's continuing to happen. That's why I said that 2027. Don't decide the winner now.
All right. CP Chooks, let me come back to you. Senator Onyekachi Weboy is a senator from Ebonyi State, and he was in a verbal clash with Obi Ezekwesili. There was a committee meeting today on the situation with Natasha, the sexual allegation, petition and complaint from Senator Natasha Akpoti. Now, during the altercation, I played the audio here. Senator Nwabonyi told Dr. Ezekwesili that she's an insult to womanhood. I don't know if you saw that video. He was vituperating. They were trying to calm him down. He was swinging his hand. He didn't care whether it was a female behind or it was a man. He literally, there was somebody in between him and Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. If that person wasn't there, maybe his finger would have entered her eye. The question now is, does this validate all of what Natasha has been saying about the Senate? Because the behavior of that senator contravenes the remarks he has been making that Natasha ought to be disciplined for not obeying rules. And in a public forum like that, you disrespected that woman. They all kept calm. They watched him while he was vituperating. As for now, maybe by tomorrow we'll get to hear precisely what transpired that elicited Senator Nwabonyi's reaction. But regardless, in such a committee, wouldn't you have expected that senator, with how he has berated Natasha, would have comported himself? What does that tell you about the state, about the scenario of the National Assembly, specifically towards the female gender, for Senator Nwabonyi to actually display the way he displayed towards Obi Ezekwesili?
First and foremost, The question is, who is Senator Nwabonyi, or whatever he calls himself?
He's an APC senator representing Ebonyi State.
I know. What is his background? Check him out. Go and profile him. You see that first and foremost, he suffers from inferiority complex. Secondly, he is exposing his inadequacies.
Okay.
If you profile him further, you will find out that he has absolutely nothing to offer. What is his background like? So such people shouldn't in any way be made reference points. If you go further, you come to find out that he has no other address. He's only either touting or toggery, and ended up bootlicking, and one way or the other found himself in the National Assembly. And the same applies to most of them in that National Assembly. It's only a few that have that decency and decorum. But that's not a criteria for them to make the red chambers. So I am not surprised by